My God.
I'm going to be honest with you, Ryan. I don't speak English very well, but this guy thinks I'm his clown or something because he told me something like, "Mark English is funny."
Howdy be, howdy do. Welcome back to a new review, a boss view. I am Rian. This is Emilio, and welcome back to the Trash Talk Podcast.
Yes, everybody. As you
That
can
was a
see,
shit intro.
there's a third person right under Ryan. Ryan, if you would be so kind as to point down. Down.
In my direction, he's over here.
Well, and everybody watching on
Hello.
YouTube is down.
Hello, people. I'm the Stanky's best friend in Mexico, but I don't speak very well English because I didn't go to the high school. So here I am. If you ask me, I'm going to be muted for all the podcast. I'm just here to listen.
Dude, this is like the best guest we've ever had on this show.
Actually,
we
he's
still
part.
can put a guest in the
No,
title.
he's part of a competition. He won the contest. He found the golden ticket in his Doritos.
You found the gold.
So-
You found the golden ticket.
Yeah, so he
Nice.
can listen to this thing live. So that's his prize. Congratulations to the
Wow.
winner. I've never met this man before.
Nice. Congratulations, sir. Thank you for subscribing to the OnlyFans account. We very much appreciate your support. So
It's an honor, my friend.
Okay, so no, just kidding. This is one of my hometown friends. I've known him for 10 years. We go way back. I've known him since the 4th grade. He's the guy that got me into making YouTube videos. So if you want to blame someone, blame him.
basically, when you say you make YouTube videos, basically means you don't have a job. You're basically jobless.
Okay, you work at a grocery store, okay? That's like basically being a YouTuber.
Convenience store, technically. Well, technically grocery store, I guess.
Fun fact, people, I just learned English for this podcast.
Yeah, so this was his dream.
Turns out $5 goes a long way.
This was his make-a-wish, everybody.
Yeah, make a wish. Yeah, just donate to random homeless people you find on the street. Hey, you want to be in a podcast? We'll teach you like a language in like 5 minutes. You don't have to know anything for it. Just come on here, do stuff.
Okay, so today, why don't you tell everybody here how we met? Marco.
Me?
Yeah.
Yeah, this should be good. I gotta hear this.
I don't remember.
'Cause I don't remember either, to be honest. That's why I ask.
I think it was in a soccer game
Yeah?
in the elementary school.
Yeah, I think in elementary school, yeah.
And
Alright.
I remember that I had this big football ball,
Soccer ball.
soccer ball, yeah.
Ryan's American, so we have to change the way we speak so he can understand it. It's like...
Yeah, actually, I call it football instead of soccer. You know, it's pretty standard over here in Canada. So, you know.
and it was like, oh hi, can you how do you say borrow you
You can
the
just...
ball to play with I think it was Edu and this Habib.
Oh, yeah. It was two of our classmates, yeah.
It's
Alright.
I think it's the only ¿cómo se dice recuerdo, güey?
Memory.
Yes, it's the only memory that I had that day.
Okay. I honestly have no idea. I just remember we were like our school wasn't that big, so he invited me to his birthday party, just kind of out of courtesy, because like if you kind of had to
Out of courtesy.
you kind
Because he
of
felt bad for you.
you kind of had to invite everybody, because like it would be very obvious who wasn't there, because everybody in our school knew each other. So
Sounds right.
He did me a solid.
It was an obligation, actually.
Oh my gosh.
And then,
Yeah, the classroom was so small, so you know everybody there.
yeah. Well, I mean, we weren't in the same classroom. There was two different classrooms, but
Okay.
our entire grade was just like 40 kids, maybe, which is not a lot.
Wow,
Mhm.
that is very, very small in comparison to what I know. Because my
Yeah.
grade back in my old high school, it was more than 40 kids. I can promise you that. It was like 80,
I mean, yeah, but the difference
90,
is
something like that.
like schools in the school system in Mexico is very different than that of the U.S. So, like, to my
I believe it.
understanding,
Apparently, you got to invite everyone to a party, otherwise you're shamed for it. So that's a new thing I'm hearing about.
well, as far as I understand it, in the U.S. you go to your school depending on your zip code, right?
It depends on the state and or area you live in. In my school, it was located in Pennsylvania, but there were people that went to Maryland, myself included at the time, because I was a dual resident at the time.
Oh yeah,
People from Maryland
Ryan's
did
an
go to a
immigrant.
school that lived there. Yeah, technically, yeah. I'm actually, believe it or not, I'm from Australia.
Oh,
I actually
wow.
escaped just for this podcast facility. Yeah.
Wow, that's why your picture's upside down.
No, that's why I made an OnlyFans account. I'm a divorced father.
Oh, okay. Anyway, so the way it
Ryan,
works,
Ryan, I have a question for you.
Sure, what's up?
There, do you learn Spanish in the high school?
Yes, actually. Back in my old high school, for 4 years, it was divided into 4 different grades. It's freshman year, sophomore year, junior year, and then senior year, which is 12th grade.
es que ahí no lo hacen
All
por
4 years, I
semestres,
personally took
entonces, por
Spanish.
eso.
I personally took Spanish class all 4 years. So they do teach Spanish class in both high school and in college. They do have that available.
Why didn't you learn? Stupid pig.
Well, you see, my teacher was a little nuts, and I knew Spanish pretty well at one point, but it's been
Bro,
a few
I
years
was your
since I last
teacher.
had
Why
a class
didn't you
on it.
learn? Okay.
Well, you see, there's a little story with that I swore I would never reveal. That was probably one of my most embarrassing high school moments.
Okay, wait a minute.
no.
I didn't finish. I didn't finish the story of how the school works here. I was.
All right, go ahead.
So the way it works here,
We'll just go with that.
it doesn't matter. Also, private schools are a lot more affordable down here. Like our school,
Damn.
our
Pretty
tuition
good.
fee was like probably less than $600 a semester.
Oh, you have a killer deal down there then for private schools. My gosh,
Yeah,
way
it's
more
amazing.
expensive here for that.
And private and public
shit.
schools, it doesn't work the same way as the U.S. You just take your kids there and you just enroll them. Doesn't matter if you don't live there.
I literally thought for a second, like, we have to pay for school down here. Let me tell you, we have to pay kids to go to school.
No, that's the only
Which
thing.
would have been a fantastic deal, mind you.
That's the only thing I'm grateful about living in this country is that school education is so affordable in comparison to the U.S. and Canada.
That's the one thing. It's like, man, everything else sucks, but man, education, that's fantastic.
Education and healthcare. Well, we don't stack up to Canada in the same way, but like the school and
Canada probably
healthcare.
has the best healthcare out of any country.
Yeah.
By far.
Anyways, who's next on? Who's gonna talk about their embarrassing Spanish story?
I'm surprised there's more than one person here that has one of those.
Okay, go ahead, buddy.
I mean, you know what? Hell with it, I'll go first. Okay, so as I mentioned a few minutes prior, I took Spanish for 4 years in high school, and there was a point in my high school career with my Spanish teacher where her mental health looks like it slowly deteriorated over time. I don't know why, but it just seemed to go crazy. There was a coworker I
it was
worked
from
with at my
seeing
work
you
that-
every day. I would go insane if I had to see you every day.
Look, man, I was like the shining star every single class. I brought in all the best damn cupcakes, let me tell you. No laxatives included every time. That's unlike every other student you would ever see in any school setting. I never once laced a teacher that anyone can report.
Is that like a thing in American
Nonetheless.
schools? Like teachers getting roofied?
Believe it or not, it's a common prank. Not roofied, no, but about a different school a few years back. A bunch of students made brownies that they laced with laxatives and pot, and they gave it to their teachers as like a graduation day gift when they were graduating from school. Not only did they not graduate, but they were sentenced to prison for poisoning their teachers because all of them had to go home the same day. It's so bad.
Y de hecho esa escuela era el Maya.
Ryan, explain it to Ryan because it's a local joke
Okay,
between us.
yeah, I'll explain, like, just, Ryan, can you finish your story, please? Because, like, it's like a tradition here on the podcast that we start talking about something, and then I interrupt Ryan, and
Yeah, they were just
we
like,
talk
oh yeah,
about
that's
something
right. There's
else.
this other random ass thing. So basically, to kind of jump into it, it was my sophomore year of school, and there was a big talent show that gets held every year at my school, and everyone goes in there. They win like $50 or something like that. It's just a school thing, and some people from town come in and watch it every now and then, mostly parents of contestants and whatnot. Well, this year in particular, this wasn't even for the talent show at first. It was a project me and a few buddies were working on, dubbed the Spanish dance that we ended up doing. We had to come up with something from, I guess, for a project for the Spanish class. So my buddies came up with the majority of the ideas. I had a few of them. Epic dances included Michael Jackson's Thriller and the Egyptian mixed in with this,
Very
as well as
Mexican.
jumping
Very
jacks and
Mexican.
other shitty moves. Yeah, definitely.
Actually,
First
here,
thing, when I think of Mexican, like Thriller, let me tell you.
yeah,
I think of everyone doing Thriller.
we have to learn it
By
actually in
far.
order to graduate. You know, instead of doing military service, we have to learn Michael Jackson's Thriller.
So, how good is your graduation rate? I'm just curious. I'm just curious, like, how bad is it at that point that everyone has to learn that?
We legally have to
But-
do it. It's in the Constitution.
You know what, man? I wish we had your graduation requirement. It would be so much easier. Gosh.
Now you know
By
why
that
school's so
point, though,
cheap.
basically, though, at that point, we came up with this project. My other two buddies, one of which is one of my best friends. I've known him for about 15 years now, and neither of them wanted to get involved with it. Neither one of them wanted to dance. So I was the only person who enacted the dance. I'm not going to do it, but essentially, my teacher, for whatever reason, everyone liked it because it looked stupid, because they got a laugh out of it. My teacher took it one step further and genuinely wanted to have the entire thing, the entire Spanish class, do it in the talent show. A full-scale production in front of the entire school. And guess who was supposed to lead it? The
Mr.
person
Ryan
who made
Bittner.
it good. Good, yeah, apparently. Nonetheless, though, in the weeks leading up to the talent show, my teacher brought me into different Spanish classes out of my separate classes to teach the other students. It was so stupid. It was so bad, man. Imagine someone going the entire time in front of a classroom. It
For
was
everybody
so stupid.
listening, Ryan just recreated Michael Jackson's Thriller for us. It was amazing.
It was. I call it more of the disabled T-Rex is what I call this one.
The same theory.
Anyways, so the joke.
Nonetheless, though,
Yeah. Anyways, yeah. Finish your story. Sorry.
after all those practices and after all that, the day of the talent show came. My class, and the main reason that everyone did it wasn't because they wanted to impress the school or win a prize. The reason for it was my teacher said either you do the dance or you have to do an entire final in. It was a 4 or 5 page final, all in Spanish. Nobody else in my class knew how to speak Spanish at all, and no one wanted to do the test. So naturally, everyone did the talent show.
Yeah. I mean, we
when
had
we-
that. I think it's a bit different for English class. Instead of an exam,
Oh, did you actually?
the last
Kind of
bimester,
interesting here in contrast. Don't it?
the last bimester, I think of the 8th grade, because from middle school down to like whatchamacallit, elementary school, it's just bimesters. We have 5 bimesters instead of 2 semesters.
Wow. Okay.
So the last
Very different
bimester,
system then.
it's a project. Well, they don't have that system anymore. I don't really know how they do it now, but
Didn't you try and fail out of college?
yeah, but it's different in college and high school. Anyways, so what happened is that in the 8th grade, for our English project, the teacher told us, well, we're doing Mamma Mia, right? And like each class got a song,
boy.
and our class got Dancing Queen. And the exam was that you just had to sing it, and that was your test.
Oh my gosh.
It was awesome.
You have a much better testing system. My gosh.
I mean, I
But
never
to wrap up the
I never
talent
got
show-
to sing anyways,
Mhm.
and I still got an A.
Yeah, that sounds right. But to wrap up the talent show story, everyone went out in the big day of production. And of course, I was the lead in front of the entire school. Everyone made such a big deal that I was there, and everyone else was behind me. Not only did we
Oh my
reenact
god,
the
is that the
entire
boss
dance,
dancing in my school?
people knew about my YouTube channel by that point too, but it wasn't as big of meme status in my class as it later became. That's a different story. But for this one, though, we did the entire dance, and it ended off with something different that we actually had to practice. I was lifted up by my entire class above the crowd. I was lifted up by everybody and just spun around before we all ran off the stage before the production was over. Ever
Wow.
since that day, friends of mine and classmates, my nickname King Ryan stuck until the end of high school. And
Yeah.
even people today still call me that.
Wow, that
It
was
was
epic.
it was very embarrassing looking back,
Well,
admittedly.
speaking about schools, so after the fifth
Uh,
grade, Marca moved to a different school. I don't know
yeah,
why, but I think that school was formerly
because
a
because
prison.
my parents can't afford the price of that 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 elementary school. So fuck you.
But like,
Interesting school story so far.
can you tell us about? So his school. What was your school's name?
My high school name was Instituto Maya.
No, that
That
was
in
your middle
English,
school.
my middle school was Instituto Maya. That in English is something like Mayan Institute. You know, the Mayan people.
Yeah.
The guys that predicted the end of
and
the world.
Don't worry, I know what the word is.
and it's funny because it was very common that students take the shit out with the with
Teachers.
the professors, the teachers. Yeah, literally, I remember that one time. Uh, uh, I have a friend, Manuel. Yeah, I think his name Manuel. Um, literally punched a teacher in the face, and the
Oh
teacher
my
was like,
god.
"Well, it's another day of job in Instituto Maya because the the students was so problematic. No, it's people with a lot of family problems there, and
It was a
I
rough
don't know
school.
it. Yeah,
Sounds like a rough
it's
school. Damn.
What was your tuition fee
it
there?
was
What was your tuition fee? La colegiatura, mijo.
uh, in dollars. Ay, como unos $50.
Oh, damn.
My god. That's not bad actually. My
I mean, but like, you're
It's
risking your every day get your ass kicked, right? And you're paying $50.
I mean, granted, yeah. So it was like $50 really worth getting, maybe losing a few teeth every day. Like, it's kind of one of those deals, I guess.
I mean,
I actually was the bully there. You know.
oh yeah, right.
No, I'm not lying because I had a friend that it was so big. Emilio knows him,
Yeah, Arturo,
and
yeah.
yeah, and I don't know. It was like we. ¿Cómo se dice molestábamos?
They like messed with him, they bothered him, they
Yeah,
clowned on him.
Sounds right.
Sí,
They probably knew he
básicamente.
was friends with you. That's probably why.
I don't know, man. I'm just
Um,
like, I used to complain about my school, and then he would talk about his school and how ghetto it was, and I was like,
Like,
nah, I'm good.
like, man, your school sucks. Mine's so much better.
I mean, I remember I went there once, and we actually have a video that I filmed at their school,
yeah,
and I made a joke that was kind of like a prison, because like the windows had
Oh,
bars and like it looked very
holy.
scary. Yeah.
That doesn't sound like a school. That sounds like a correction facility.
Well, for
My
$50,
gosh.
it can be anything you want. Um,
Yeah, it could be like Alcatraz, only worse.
I
There's
mean,
kids
yeah.
there.
actually, in the kitchen of the middle school, um, sometimes you
You mean
you can see
la
some.
cocina? No,
Yeah,
la cafeteria?
yes,
Oh, okay, the cafeteria. Okay.
you can see rats. Some it was some so gross.
Oh my Doesn't sound like a fantastic school to go to.
And why did you
Not
like
at
this
all.
school, dog? Like, 'cause it was near your house.
Eh. Can you explain me to explain to Ryan where is my high school in comparison to my house, my middle school?
So his middle school was like a 2-minute walk. It was like he had just to cross the street in order to get there.
Man, you had like the best gig on saving gas ever. All you have to do is just walk there every day. I'm like, damn. I wish I was that lucky.
I mean, my school
But
was
actually, no, I have
like
to live in the city.
my school was 30 minutes away.
Yeah, my actually, my old high school was actually about half an hour away from my house. The current school I go to for college, it's like 5-10 minutes away. It's not far at all.
And do you get to punch the teachers there?
You know what? I actually did that a few times, believe it or not, and
Oh,
they actually
awesome.
gave me a cake for it. I didn't get in trouble; they just gave me a cake.
Well, that's nice.
It was pretty epic, actually.
I can see
Yeah, it
why.
was actually. It was chocolate though, so I prefer
That's
vanilla.
Anyways, but yeah, his school was kind of rough. His school was famous for being the school
Green.
where his school was famous for being the one where they uploaded like those school fights videos, you know.
Oh yeah, there's some videos in YouTube. What was the name? Peleas en el Maya.
yeah. Yeah, it was awesome. Everybody know that school because of those videos.
Yeah.
And actually, he got
That's
suspended
the
once.
best advertisement possible. Oh my god!
Can you tell the story of the time you got suspended?
Give me a minute. I'm going to translate it.
Yo sé, yo te puedo ayudar, sí.
Oh, like,
Háblale de algo en lo que lo traduzco porque me gustaría contarlo yo porque está jocosa.
Okay. So yeah, that was his school. My school only had one fight, and it was so lame. And the origin of that fight was like so stupid. I think I've told you the story. I went to a white people school, and he went to people that look like me school.
That's racist, man.
But it's true.
racist against your.
But it's true. It's like we went to very different schools, and the stereotypes dictate that I should have gone to his school and he should have gone to mine.
Oh my god!
But anyways,
This sounds like a borderline gender swap.
would be kind of a race swap instead.
No. No.
Anyways, I want to say is I love white people.
Well, my story
Dude, that should be
is
the title of the podcast.
I love white people.
See how many people click on it.
Anyway, so the origin of that fight was that these two rich kids, they got into an argument on Facebook, and then rich kid number A got his dad into the group chat, and that's how the fight started. And then at school they were like, I remember I heard one of the kids say, "Oh, you're not so tough with your daddy not here."
oh,
And the fight was so lame because it was just literally them holding each other from the arms. But I mean,
Oh my god.
I think what made that fight epic is it was a guy from the 6th grade versus a guy from the 7th grade. And if you don't know, here in Mexico, middle school starts at the 7th grade. So it was like this middle school versus elementary school sort of thing. And it was like the event of the season.
I knew this fight was gonna suck the minute you started off by saying, so this one kid got his father in a group chat on Facebook. Yeah, I knew it was gonna be bad from there. That is the lamest entrance to a fight I have ever heard in my life. I brought my dad with me. We're gonna settle this like man.
Yeah, I kind of regret bringing Marca onto the podcast. Because when it was just me and Ryan would see that I'm like a hard guy, that I'm from the streets. But now with Marca here, he seems
Yeah.
he seems
hard
even
guy.
more rough
Hard
than
guy
me.
who falls in a coma in cars.
listen to me, Ryan. I remember
Okay, he's gonna
that
tell you a story.
some
This is epic.
that's my story. Some friend came to me and told me something like spank the teacher ass, no? So I did it, and I got suspended for 2 days, I think.
Oh my god.
But that's not the story I wanted to hear.
Which one?
The one where you were okay, so I'm gonna tell it. So he was at a soccer game for his school, and he was supposed to
Ah,
film the game, right? But the game was so
yeah.
boring. So then two of his friends came,
Oh,
and they started to pretend that they were in Minecraft, right? So
Yeah.
so they started to fight like they do in Minecraft, and the teacher saw them, and they thought they were making another viral video for the school. And then he got suspended.
Yeah. It was so hard, so difficult to tell my parents why I got suspended, you know?
Minecraft got you suspended from school for
Because I started a Minecraft fight, mom.
I have
Me quería aventar un PvP,
never
jefa.
heard someone get kicked out of school for Minecraft in my life.
Well,
I
that's
know.
a true story. I mean,
I believe it.
This is so embarrassing, you know? Because I'm literally talking with a guy who lives in the first world about my my middle school.
dejadme el nombre de México bien
I
en
don't know how
alto.
they were so excited dude about Minecraft getting me kicked out of school for 2 days.
I'm going to tell you something, Ryan. I think that my middle school, it's a national pride.
I can agree.
Oh, there you go. You know, at least you're proud of it. At least you're proud of it. You know what? No one can take that from you.
Okay, do you have any more stories of El Maya or
I have
don't tell him
tell us
Mike
one.
got shut down. Don't tell him Mike got shut down. I want to tell him.
Sometimes a dog interrupts the class, and the teachers didn't know how to love the dog of the school, so he don't login. Ay, no sé cómo pronunciar risa, amigo.
Laughter.
But laugh. And the teachers say something like, "Oh, it's a good idea to have the dog in the ¿cómo se dice patio de la escuela?
In the playground.
In the playground of the middle school." But my friend starts to play soccer, and the dog saw him, and he literally fucked up the soccer
The ball.
the soccer ball, and the teachers came, and the dog ran away, and when the teachers found the soccer ball, dile que le echaron la culpa al Arturo
They blamed one of our friends.
because you know it's embarrassing to to tell to an American this story. So yeah,
You know,
when
you want to
visit
hear
Mex-
how you want to know how lame American school stories are? Like Ryan, tell him any story from your school, just so we can like get an idea of how lame it was.
Hey,
It's like
bad, all
son
right.
peores que las historias de Albanta.
Stories. There's some pretty epic stories that have happened, at least in my school, alright? There was at least one good one in particular near the end of my junior year. So there's some
Okay.
good ones that
Don't tell your prom story again, please. That was a sad episode.
it's first off, fuck you. It's not a problem story. Okay, that's
¿Sí te conté
entirely
esa historia?
that's an entirely separate bit. Alright.
Okay.
The actual story was so one time at band camp.
Why were you
Wrong
at
story.
band camp?
I've never went to band camp. I was never in band in school. I wasn't track though, but I wasn't in band. But at the end of my junior year, it was we were going to school for the last day of school before summer vacation started. Because I don't know how summer vacation works for you guys, but it starts in June and then goes all the way till August traditionally for like high schools and whatnot.
We
I don't know if it's like a 3-month system or anything.
No, we just have 1 month.
1 month, okay.
Yeah.
Well, we have like a 3-month break, like in the middle of the year from June to August. Last day before the summer vacation started, 3 idiots, and whom I still know of, I never knew them personally, but I knew of them,
Call them
broke
out.
into the school the night before.
Okay.
They broke into the school, lab, stole chemicals and doused the walls and floors of the entire high school, spray painted shit and symbols all over the walls. And then apparently at some point, one of them decided it would be a good idea to try and upturn everything in the classroom. They trashed the entire high school, spray painting and spraying chemicals they stole everywhere. It was nuts. When we got to the school, they lined up all the school buses on our football field, had all the students wait on the bleachers, and we later found out, oh yeah, you guys aren't going back to school. Your summer vacation starts early.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, as it turns out, awesome. Those three guys, they did it the day before they graduated, and not only did they not graduate, but they also one of them. So I think got community service. One of them was forced to join the Air Force, and the other one I have no idea what happened with him. But they all got charges and fines, and they didn't get to graduate.
Bro, they should be your heroes. Like they gave you vacation early. Like that's amazing.
It was the day before summer vacation.
It's still one extra day. I'm proud
Rian,
to be an American.
But that's not a prank. You know, that's a crime.
No shit, I know. In their mind, it was a prank. Clearly, that's a crime. Breaking and entering, destruction of property, being a dumbass. Although if that was
vandalism,
a crime,
dude.
Everyone go to jail for it.
Who knew that Ryan had an even more ghetto school than we did?
Probably.
Hey,
There
Rian,
weren't bars, but there were bars.
I have a question to you, Ryan.
For you.
For everybody.
But,
does the stereotype of tall, blonde, bully guy exist in the middle school?
tall, kinda. There are stereotypes like that. When it comes to like,
you're triggering his PTSD, dude.
well, well, when it comes to like tall blonde stereotypes, it doesn't really apply to like guys as much. Now they do apply to women though. When it comes to guys wanting girls, tall blonde, that is like a stereotype for what guys are, I guess, supposed to be attracted to at that point. Because typically that's like what a lot of like the jocks and football players were attracted to or started dating.
Not like
but
Ryan.
in terms of guys, not really. It's mostly just football team stuff.
Ya ves, güey, tienes
Okay.
chance. He has a shot with some American ladies.
Girls.
So
That's definitely how it worked, man.
it is normal to see people like Stanky in the middle school.
What's that supposed to mean?
You know, ugly, short.
I'm taller than you.
Well, here in America, you are short. There in America.
I'm taller than Ryan.
No, you're how tall are you?
Sorry about that, buddy.
I'm 6'1".
No, you're not 6'1".
I am. How
Are you
tall?
actually? Shit, he's taller than me. I'm like 5'10", 5'9". I'm like 5'10", actually. Last I measured, so not too much taller than me.
Ryan,
Both my best
you
friends
know
are actually over
why
6',
they
so.
call it a stinky monkey? You know why they call it stinky monkey?
Because of racism.
I've never heard this
No.
expression. I have
Because
no idea.
he got AIDS.
Because I have AIDS.
Yeah. It's a better joke that I said in English.
I don't know if
That's
I'm proud of you that you can finally make jokes in English, or angry the fact that I just got roasted.
You must just be grateful for both.
So his school actually was shut down a couple of years ago.
Was it?
Yeah.
I think there's a good reason for that then. at
Okay,
that
what are some of your theories? What are some of your theories?
The
point. Why the
official
school got shut down?
Cállate. So what's your theory,
continue.
Ryan, Mr. Bittner?
I'm gonna guess one of two reasons. One, people realized the conditions were so bad and kids were misbehaving so much they decided we want nothing to do with this. Two, the headmaster, principal, whoever was in charge was a furry. So those are my two running theories right now.
I kind of like both of them, though.
Am I right?
Well,
Was it
Actually,
the second one? I bet you.
The official one, it's the middle school didn't have was legal, you know. ¿Cómo se dice? No tenía permiso del gobierno.
they didn't have government recognition.
So technically, the people that graduate from that middle school, their education didn't count there in Mexico.
Basically, because the school wasn't in service,
Oye, pero
they
yo
technically didn't
pensé que fue
graduate
por lo
from
del
there.
prefecto.
Ok, cuéntale esa historia, Ryan.
Okay, so that's the official side of the story. But the
Okay.
actual reason was that one of the hall monitor. Well, no, it's not hall monitor. It's like, oh, you guys don't have this in the U.S. They call them the perfect.
It's like the teacher, but angry.
Oh,
Yeah, it's basically like they're
sounds
supposed
right.
to be the law enforcement in school, right, or whatever.
Yeah.
You know what? Actually, that's a recent thing that actually got added to even my old school. There's now officers that are stationed there actually at
Well,
that school.
they're
There's two
not.
of them
It's
specifically.
it's kind of different. It's
Yeah,
like a teacher, but it's like it's like a guard, but it's also a teacher.
yeah,
Okay.
and they're not actually police officers. But
It's
basically,
a guy who graduate from communication.
anyways, so this guy, the perfect, he got a student pregnant.
Yeah, that sounds right. Actually, I can totally see that being the reason why.
An illegal student because he was 16. I think.
Gee,
Yeah.
yeah, that's severely underage.
Why there's two Emilios in the Discord?
So I can put the
This is
Crash
porno.
Talk logo there, so I don't have to edit in After
Just so it
Effects.
looks more official.
Okay.
That's not the that's the Silly Cheese logo. That's not the Trash Talk logo.
It's a better logo. Anyways,
I
No,
I forgot to say
logo.
I forgot to say that one time two students was ¿cómo se dice que los descubrieron, güey?
they caught them doing something
Having
nasty.
sex in the bathroom.
Yeah, I believe it because I have a thing actually
It was
happened.
kind of cool, you know. It was kind of cool because the guy it's like the ugly one in the classroom, so it was like bravo.
Hero.
Very epic story though. I never would have imagined that was the reason why that school got shut down. I never would have imagined.
Do you imagine this is cool, but in your country?
I didn't even hear him.
Like
Ah,
What was the question?
he said that.
do you imagine? Ya dile tú, güey.
Okay. He says that. Do you imagine a school like his over in the states?
Actually, to an extent, yeah. There are a few schools that I've heard of in some other states that basically like mini prison camps of sorts. Not to the extent where there's bars on windows or anything like that, but there are schools that are worse off. Case in point, there's a city in the state I live in known as Baltimore. The rehabilitation facilities they have there for students are basically little, like Alcatraz, the big prison that exists in like California. It's like that, only small scale. The difference is, however, they don't get shut down for students having sex with teachers. That's like every other day there. It happens all the time.
Oh,
I'm sure it
la
happens
verga.
all the time.
Ah.
Few examples,
I went to a nice school, so I don't know.
but that's nice
You-
at least.
I mean, in his
Don't get me
school,
wrong.
like students were leaking nudes left and right. In my school, that only happened once, and it wasn't even a nude.
Damn it.
Let's just say it was
That's
a
a
risque
good-
picture.
You have bad luck with the chicks.
Are you talking to both of us? The whole point of this podcast is that we're both having bad luck with chicks.
Okay.
Apparently, I mean, I don't know about you guys, but I'm a big ladies' man myself, so thankfully I don't have to worry about that.
I'm starting to think that I have better luck with the guys, you know?
That's a statement that I
can't
never thought I'd
relate.
hear openly, but you know what? Good on you.
I only live once.
Exactly. You know what? Full send, man. You only live once.
Okay, I'm trying to
Gosh,
think of any other stories from our childhood, but I don't know. I remember I don't even understand how our friendship works.
Cuéntale la vez que me dejaste plantado en Plaza Stadium, güey.
Okay.
Cuéntale.
Okay, so I must say first, I've told Ryan the story about my first girlfriend, right? Uh,
Yes, you have actually. You have mentioned that.
so I'm not gonna give everybody the whole story, but basically, I was supposed to meet up with that guy one day, and we are gonna go to the movies or something. And that day, I broke up with my girlfriend, and there was a huge storm in our city that destroyed everything. So I was like, "There's no way I'm gonna go there, right? Because the city's flooded." And that guy still showed up to the mall and just stayed there, and I forgot about him, and that's the basis of our friendship. It's foundation.
I wait like 3 hours there. You know.
Oh my
Pero te
gosh.
divertiste.
Was this the same mall that you and your sister and whatnot like got crushed to death almost by that
No,
ceiling?
that was a
Is this the
different
same
place.
mall?
Actually, that mall it's shit. You know, it's empty.
Donde dice lo mío es en Plaza Mayor.
I'm yo estoy diciendo Plaza Stadium.
Oh, okay.
Stadium Mall.
So yeah, there's a lot of malls in our city. How many malls is there in León?
It's Plaza Mayor, Altasia, Max,
Estadio.
Galerías, Plaza Stadium, como unos like 7, 8 malls.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's a
it sucks.
decent amount for your.
Pero son muy chiquitos, explícale que literalmente nomás es el cine y un Liverpool.
I mean, it's most of them are just like a movie theater and a department store like glued together in most cases.
And a Burger King.
That's still not bad though, in
There's-
terms of having entertainment or
There's like
shopping
3 big
options
ones.
open.
There's 3 big ones.
Yeah.
I have one in my immediate area.
But like, how many
just have
people
one.
live in your county? Like 5 people?
Five. Bullshit. There's more than it's more than 5 people. I don't know the exact number, but I know it's at the very least probably like several thousand people. It's a decent amount of people.
Well, we have 1.5
It's probably
million people here, so.
A million.
Mm,
Well, it's not quite 5 million, but it's probably like in the tens of thousands, maybe. Because a lot of people do live here.
le voy a contar de la primaria que está en el rancho, pero estoy buscando las palabras.
Okay,
It's,
she's trying to tell a story.
There is a town. It's not a city. It's a town, a little town called La Laborcita. But it's
Can you say that, Ryan?
La Laborcita.
Well, you see, the thing is, I don't want to come off as insensitive by pronouncing it wrong, so I'll leave it to the professionals.
okay.
Join us for part
So-
2 of this podcast where we teach Ryan all the slurs in Spanish.
I'm learning English too.
I know mierda. I know that one.
That one means the boss. What are you talking about?
That is not what yeah, that's exactly what the boss means. That's gonna be my official title. Mierda.
This podcast is going to say the boss learning Spanish. The most clickbait title.
This
The
is the
boss
clickbait
fights a
title you could ever
Mexican?
put in there.
The boss is a Mexican guy.
Just like a thumbnail shot of me looking at my arm.
Oh,
Oh,
that's racist.
that's racist.
Yeah.
Don't you look at him? He's whiter than you, Ryan. What the hell? He might have gone to a
Look, man,
dead-end
I'm-
school, and he doesn't have
No,
middle
I know
school.
At
you're
least.
wider than that.
Son?
Okay, but
Best friend reunited with his dad.
Dad, it's been 20 years. Where have you been? Not seeing you, son. Not seeing you.
Marco, where did you go get the cigarettes? Why did you never come back for your son?
Dad, where have you been all this time? How far was the cigarette store?
how do you call how do you ¿cómo se dice la migra ya?
Ice.
Ice,
Ice. La migra, ¿no?
como que ice. Sí.
Es que así
Ice?
son las siglas de la... Como el FBI, ellos son ICE,
Ice.
entonces le dicen ICE. Como-
The Border Patrol. Basically, the Border Patrol take me to Mexico because
He was talking too
because
many bitches.
I was stanky friend. So he's Mexican. You two are Mexican. But I'm actually I'm a American guy.
Good for you, buddy.
That's good to know.
No,
That's
just
it.
look at me. I didn't look like a Mexican. Stanky does, but I don't.
Dude, I would believe you're Canadian any day. If you told me that you were from Toronto, I would believe you.
Actually, the first
I'm a
time
British.
I met Ryan, I thought he was from Vietnam. I don't see color, everybody.
Look, man, it was like two tours. It wasn't that bad.
I'm going to start to talk with British accent like water. Harry Potter.
Well, actually, an inside joke we have between Mexicans is that when someone has like a bad pronunciation of English, they just say, "Oh no, it's just that I'm speaking in British English. That's why you can't understand me."
Actually, believe it or not, that's actually a joke here too. Whenever someone doesn't know how to say a word properly, it's like a running joke, like in a lot of the different states that have like a lot of countryside. When someone says something like window, for example, a lot of the people in the area that are like that are older say like winder or crick instead of creek, that kind of thing. That's like a running joke as well, and people are like, "Oh, would you like a spot of tea with that?" Kind of deal. It's like they add some British flair into it just to fuck with them.
Oh man,
kinda
I
funny,
love trolling boomers too. Anyways, you were
Yeah,
telling us about
yeah,
La
Emilio.
Laborcita.
That's how I spend my days. I just look on Facebook live feeds of like 80-year-old grandmothers who just got Facebook, and I'm just like trolling them, being like, "How do you say crack again?" I'd be like, "Actually, no, it's creek."
Well, La Laborcita, it's a travel to the past, because all the stereotypes of Mexico, ¿cómo se dice que La Laborcita es la representación y maximiza todos los estereotipos de México?
He says that La Laborcita is a place where all Mexican stereotypes are true. I don't know, I've never been there.
Because the people is so, how do you say, so, ¿cómo se dice rancheros?
They're not my palabra para eso. They act like the Mexican stereotype.
Yeah, and they didn't have a car in some families. They actually have horses to move from one point to other. It's like I'm going to the school, mom. Préstame el caballo.
Actually, that actually sounds pretty familiar though, with like people not having cars and like using horses. Because there are people in my area too,
Ryan
like in
rides
my
a donkey
immediate
to
area, my
school.
house. I actually did that for years, man. It saved on gas so much. Let me tell you, it was slow as hell, but I'm helping the environment.
Actually, something
There
that
are people around here.
you guys, sorry to interrupt
There are-
you, buddy, but there's actually something that you guys have in common. You both,
What's that?
you might be from different countries, but so that's what makes you guys.
Oh, I thought you were going to say we're both asses. But yeah, like a car with a donkey.
The farms in America doesn't have a connection with narco traffic.
He says that two farms in the U.S. have to do with drug cartels.
No. The average farm does not. There might be the occasional meth lab, but no.
Here in Mexico is very common. Here in Mexico is very common that the drugs cartels use the farm to hide drug. It's a familiar view.
Actually,
And that's the story of how we all got killed.
Yeah, pretty much. The cartel tracks each one of us down, despite not specifically mentioning anything. But there are, what I was saying before about like when you were mentioning about horses and whatnot, people taking that as transport. There are people around here. They're called the Amish that live. There are people who live off the land.
Yeah, there's people here
like,
too. Yeah, they're here too.
We call him
Mennonites.
¿Cómo les decía? Los Mennonites. Los Menonitas.
Actually, they're Mennonite. They're actually Mennonites that live in my area too. They live off the land completely. A lot of them don't like to use cars or anything like around where I live. They grow their own crops. They have like an old style farmhouse, and they ride a horse and carriage everywhere. In fact, in front of my workplace, it's not uncommon to see a horse and buggy outside of a giant shopping center. Like, it's not unusual all the time.
I mean, yeah, we have them here too. Like,
There's a... ¿Cómo se dice que hay una frase?
there's a phrase.
There's a phrase that it's something like la única forma de tratar con un menonita poniéndole dinamita. Yo la escuché de mi abuelo, güey. Ahorita se la
his grandpa used to say that the only way to get rid of a Mennonite is to put some dynamite.
My grandpa was very racist.
I mean, there's like a very racist joke in this country that's like when you see a white person with a plaid shirt, it's like, yeah, you tell them, "Where's your cheese, bro?" Because they usually sell cheese.
Where's your cheese?
I find that more funny than anything.
I mean, like he gets that joke sometimes. Like one time he dressed up like a cowboy or something, and people thought he was a Mennonite.
Oh my god.
Me and Stanky have a theory. La teoría del patín. Explícasela.
Oh no le voy a explicar eso. So,
Cuéntale el mame de que se pelea con un oficial y después el patín lo mata. No especifiques.
Okay, no, I'll tell them the full story. So, we've been talking about what would happen a lot. We've been talking a lot of what would happen if our dads fought each other, like my dad against his, right?
Yeah.
All right.
So his dad has the advantage that he's a truck driver.
Go on.
But my dad was a bouncer. And then your dad sort of came into the mix, right? So we thought, who would win? A truck driver, a bouncer, a former bouncer that is, and a cop. And let's just say his dad has a rough story with police. So...
Oh my gosh! I can imagine where that steered.
So he was saying that the origin of the fight. You know how in these like superhero fights they have to have like an origin, like a reason to fight, even though nobody cares. We just want to see them. That. We just want to see them beat each other up.
Yeah, pretty much.
So we said that the origin was that his dad was speeding. And then your dad pulls him over. And then he opens the door. And then he just kicks your dad. And then we couldn't think of what would happen next, so your dad just dies. Sorry.
What the fuck? I love my father. So no.
Well, he died a hero, man. Anything, like...
Replace him with Bugs Bunny. Yeah, you just kick someone and like, yep, he died. Just kick him in the shin. Like, they just fall over dead.
Bro, his dad's a truck driver. And like, I feel like your dad's sort of at a disadvantage if all of our three dads collectively fight. Also, our fathers...
This should be the new title of the podcast.
Our fathers don't speak English. Club. So they would kind of have an advantage over your dad.
Oh my god.
So they would just like... Team up and then...
Me acuerdo que me dijiste, güey, que, pues, tú le falta, creo que era.
My dad's pretty tough. He get hold of his own with it. I'm sure he'd be pretty good.
I couldn't hear any of what you guys said because you were talking at the same time.
Ryan first.
I was just saying, I think my dad's fine off. He's pretty good when it comes to that stuff. So like, I'm obviously going to be behind him on that one.
But like, they can't use any weapons. So.
Oh well, in that case, he'd probably still win. I can still see it.
Yeah, right. My dad was...
Yeah, because my father have some weapons like his hands. His hands are lethal weapons, my friend.
I feel like my dad would win. Because he has he did jujitsu,
Emilio,
taekwondo.
Your dad wouldn't even make it to the fight. His car would just explode halfway to the fight. It would be straight alongside the road.
Bro, my dad was...
by that time.
My dad used to do all sorts of martial arts. Bro, like, well, your dad's a mall cop.
No, he's not he's never been a mall cop. No.
Cuéntale la de que me dijiste de... mi jefe sí gana porque sí tiene sus riñones bien.
No. I can't do that joke on them. So it got really messy, that conversation of which one of our dads would win between me and him. So
Oh my!
so if you okay, this is gonna be really mean. I love your dad. He's always been nice to me. But we did do a
Yeah.
joke that was a bit too far, cause like his dad his dad has diabetes.
Yeah.
So we were talking trash, and I was like, "Oh yeah,
no.
well my dad's pancreas works," and then
Oh,
It was so
that's
funny, though.
really.
yeah, and then he retaliated with,
I bet you.
and then my dad's an alcoholic, so he retaliated with, "Oh yeah, well my dad's kidneys still work," and then
I was gonna say liver, but yeah, that works too.
so we still will probably never know which one of our dads will win. All we know is that your dad would die if he would walk into a room
That,
into a
that
ring against
discussion,
ours.
that discussion,
My
it
dad
literally
would
was
win.
a trash talk.
It should have been a podcast episode.
See, this is gonna be like the whole goal of Trash Talk now. We're just gonna make like a huge like dad fighting ring and invite a bunch of dads from across the world to fight in like an international competition, just to see who would win.
That would be amazing.
When they ask why we did it, I don't know. We needed a clickbaity thumbnail.
I mean,
The fight,
So, you
that
know.
competition,
Dad Fight Club.
that fight.
I mean, I thought of a
Dude, this is
cool.
like the next. This is $1 million idea.
I thought of a cool RPG game, sort of like Pokemon, where you would go on catching dads. Like, you would go to the milk section and just pick up dads. That would be like walking into the bushes in Pokemon.
Why the milk section and why bushes? Two
Well-
places I don't think you would have find a guy
Well,
who you assume's a dad.
No, because like in Pokemon, if you walk into a bush, you find like a Pokemon, right?
It's tall
and-
grass. It's tall grass.
Whatever.
It's not a bush.
Well, here in this game, if you walk into the like milk section of the supermarket, you find wild dads.
It's like walking to the bushes outside a milk section of a supermarket. Some creepy guy wearing a trench coat, about ready to jump out at teenagers.
You
Dude,
just throw
are
a
you a dad?
Pokeball at them.
Probably. It's like, yeah, just throw a Pokeball and catch him. Just throw him in an arena with a bunch of other guys.
I feel like it will work. I mean, I don't know. I've never seen Ryan's dad, so I don't know if he could compete. I imagine he's just an older version of Ryan, so that's not good for your dad.
Right. No. He's a slightly taller, more fit version of me.
Where did you go wrong?
Well, you see, man, I met you.
Well,
Oh,
my dad is a shorter, fitter version of me.
my dad is literally
What
me,
happened
but
to you?
older. My dad is literally me, but older, and with diabetes.
Oh. Fine. That's like a Tinder profile. My dad, older than me, stronger than me, has diabetes.
I feel like, I mean, I've heard stories about Marca's dad, where he apparently, one time a bike rider crashed into their car, and the bike rider started like pedaling as fast as he could away from the accident, and his dad got off the car, chased the guy on foot, and just pulled him out of the bike.
Oh my
Dile que se lo agarró a patadas en el suelo.
And then he dropped him on the floor and started kicking him.
Oh my.
I mean, my dad used to
my.
fight
You know
Mexico City bus drivers. I feel like that gives them extra points.
Yeah.
I feel like at this point, with all these fighting skills in mind, this like game has to happen. I feel like you could publish this and someone would buy it.
I don't know if it should
Someone
be
would buy like a fighting dad RPG.
like, should it be like Street Fighter or should it be like Pokemon? You know, should it be like you go on
Probably like
catching
Street
dads,
Fighter. I feel like
or you just pick your dad?
it would have more appeal. You combine elements of both Pokemon and Street Fighter. You have the catching mechanics of Pokemon, but then you just have Street Fighter-based combat.
Oh, that'd be kind of
If
cool.
you want to catch dads, there's application for that. It's called Tinder.
But you're my dad, though.
Look, yeah, you're
I don't
actually
need
his
Tinder, I
dad.
have you, Dad. Yeah, Dad.
I love
I don't
you.
need Tinder. I have you.
So now you have to
Seriously.
beat up your own
Come
father,
back to
dude.
me. Thank you, Father. I need you back, please. You start petting the screen. It's like, there, son. I'm never gonna see you, but good.
I'm going to buy some cigarettes.
You did that 20 years ago. I know. I'm gonna wait another 20 before I talk to you again. So I'm gonna go for the cigarettes.
Okay.
Anything
Oh,
else
that's
you
it.
want to learn about our country, Ryan?
It sounds like there's a lot of interesting things there. I must admit.
Would you ever like to visit?
Apparently, uh,
Mexico, it's so cheap, you know.
is it? I've never looked into going. Like the only time I've been out of the country, but the only time I've been out of the country was when I went on the cruise to the Bahamas, like a few like years ago.
I went to Japan. I don't know if you know that.
Shut up.
You've mentioned that many times now.
Actually, I don't. I
There's
feel
a
like I
whole
never
podcast
talk
segment
about
on
it.
Ya le
We
contaste de
never
que
talked about it. We talked about it like
right?
multiple episodes.
Sí, sí, sí.
Like multiple
Entonces
videos,
no
it's
tiene
been
ningún
mentioned.
efecto.
Hey, by the way, guys, here's how to win an argument. Did you know I went to Japan? Yeah, I'm better than you.
That's
It's basically every conversation with this guy. It's
He's like, by the
basically
way,
every
yeah, exactly.
conversation.
bro. I
He's like,
never
"Hi,
talk
nice to
about
meet
it.
you." Dude, I went to Japan.
I've never talked about my Japan trip. I feel like this is the first time I mention it.
When he came back
Holy,
from
you
Japan,
mentioned it how many times? You mentioned it all the time in the episode.
every time.
Yeah, almost every time. In multiple
think so.
episodes in the past, you're like, dude, I gotta tell you about my Japan trip. And you told me so many things about it already that I basically know the trip and I haven't even gone there. And oh,
Your
Dad,
dad's gone.
no, please, Dad, the cigarettes didn't take you that long, did they?
For those of
Please
you
come back.
watching, Marco
Oh,
just
he's
turned
back.
off his light.
Sorry
Has it been
about
20
that.
years
I
already.
mean, listening. Anyways, Marco was going to say something until he was brutally interrupted.
Ay, ya se me olvidó. Ah,
He forgot it.
wait up. Yeah. Oh, la madre. But yeah, I forgot it. Sorry.
So, would you ever consider visiting the U.S.? I feel like you would die here.
I just figure I would die. Well, if we're doing the lights podcast, damn.
¿Tú
Eh.
subirías al Ryan a la oruga?
Ryan,
There we go.
If-
Now we're dark.
if you came to Mexico, there's an amazing experience that you have to try.
In our city.
What would that be?
It's called the worm.
The caterpillar.
Is that a dance move?
No, the caterpillar
The
is what we
worm-
call...
The worm sounds better. The worm.
But the worm isn't the correct translation.
But it sounds amazing.
Okay, explain to him what the worm is.
It's basically, ¿cómo se dice?
It's like our subway, but it's on top because we can't have any underground stuff.
It's two buses but connected.
Yeah, and it wiggles like a worm.
All
Yeah.
right, that's interesting. I've never heard of anything like that.
Well, it's just
It's the
11
public
pesos.
transport.
All right, then,
¿Cómo se
interesting
dice?
to try.
$0.50.
Like 50 cents a ride.
But if you look so
Foreign.
foreign, it's a higher probably that you get
Stabbed.
stabbed.
I mean,
Yeah. Well, you see, the thing is, I know how to do the worm pretty well. I'll just dance in front of the ride. Everyone will be so impressed by my dancing ability.
the thing is, Ryan is so cheap that if he ever comes to Mexico, he wouldn't pay for Uber. He would be like, "Yeah, let's risk it on the worm, see what happens." He'd be like,
I just steal the Uber. I just take out the Uber driver and just steal the car.
I actually got abused in the worm.
really?
Yeah, a lady just. ¿Cómo se dice que me andaba agarrando aquí así la nalga?
He got groped by a woman.
Yeah.
That's exactly what I was thinking too. All those. He's like, dude, I got violated on the worm. That could mean a number of things.
I mean, I've never had a bad experience on the worm. I did have a bad experience on the bus where it's like morning and I was yawning and this guy turned around and told me, "If you don't stop blowing in my ear, I'll beat the shit out of you." And then he turned around.
Yeah.
Oh my god. I thought for a second there you were going to say something like, dude, I had a terrible ride on to Boss. I was going to say, there's something we need to talk about then. Uh,
I mean, our
you're,
friend,
you're having delusions about me.
one of our friend has gotten into fights on top of the worm. Este sap.
Um,
Ah, yeah, we have a friend called Sap, like a sap, and he got a fight in the worm. It's the most epic
damn.
thing that it could happen in the worm.
Yeah.
Oh,
I mean,
Bueno,
there's,
eso que choque.
I mean, there's some cool stuff in the worm. Like, sometimes there's good music on the worm. Sometimes there's some really bad music on the worm. It just kind of depends.
I think the worm it's the ¿cómo se dice el epicentro?
The epicenter.
The epicenter of coronavirus here in León because la gente dile que la gente se salta las medidas, güey. Ahí.
Like, people on that ride the worm to like get to work and stuff don't care about the social distancing measures. So it's like coronavirus doesn't exist
that
there.
sounds right.
It's like, I mean,
But
yesterday
there-
That sounds right.
yesterday there was a raid on the worm. Like,
¿Te fuiste a la oruga?
no, yo no estaba ahí, pero pues vi los videos. But like, there was a protest. So what happened was that a cop, maybe it was your dad.
No.
A cop.
Yeah, I don't think my dad's taken any trips recently.
I sure hope not. But a cop, they arrested a girl and whatever, and they told her that she could get she would go free if she blew both of the cops.
Yeah.
So there was like protest yesterday, and it got a lot of the hand. There was a lot of police brutality. So there was like literally anybody that was young was getting picked up by police.
Yeah.
And like,
Actually, there's some people disappeared.
yeah, like they were riding the worm and then came in the police and pulled them out of the bus. You still
I
want to
didn't
come
think
here?
blowjobs were that prominent on the
You still
worm.
wanna come?
People are getting arrested for it. I mean, all right.
I mean, I feel like it's not. It's like, I feel like where we live, it's not that interesting for tourists because our region was the one that was controlled the most by the Spanish. So a lot of it's just colonial stuff, and it's not that exciting. But
It has some nice things like the Metropolitan Park. It's a really
yeah.
nice park.
we have a national park here. It's very cool.
Yeah.
very
I mean,
¿cómo se
the
dice la
food.
feria?
We have the state fair here.
Yeah.
I just like the food here. I feel like that's the reason why I still live here.
There's a sandwich of bird here. A bird sandwich.
Okay, I'm gonna explain that. So, this sandwich is called the macaw, but it doesn't have the
Alright.
bird, right? So it's a pork sandwich, but it's very famous in our city. But a lot of people, especially outside of our city and in different parts of the country, didn't know that. So when people from León, which is where I live, were saying like, "Oh, I'm feeling really hungry for some macaw," people from other places thought we were eating the bird. And there was like a lot of outrage on like Facebook and Twitter for people that thought we were eating the endangered species.
Oh my god.
Actually, we have also bear soup.
Nadie le dice así, leoneses de verdad le decimos bomba.
Oh my
Bear
god.
soup. Explain
Okay,
it.
so there's two names for this thing. It's either bear soup or the bomb. It's just like a
Los dos son animal, güey.
it's a fruit cocktail, right? I don't know why some people call it bear soup, but some people call it bomb because it kind of messes up your stomach because there's a lot of like
Oh my
spicy
god.
stuff put into it.
That's some,
It's really good. It's like good when
Oh.
you're eating it. It's bad when you're done.
There's a thing called cebadina here,
Oh, I love that.
but it's like a soda. But when you are going to drink it, it literally explodes. It's like they have a lot of gas. I can explain it very well, but I think you understand me.
I think I got the picture as far as that goes.
It's really good. I really like it. It's really refreshing. It's like,
Yeah.
I don't really know what the juice is, but it's very good. I think it's like cranberry. And they just put
Yeah.
baking soda on top of it, and it makes it fizzle.
You know
And then
what?
you drink it.
You know what's aquí? We have to do Stanky Mark Comen Leon, but in English.
That video actually has subtitles, so Ryan can watch it and shut the fuck up.
The Americans can't read subtitles, you know?
Oh yeah, Americans can't read. We all know that.
You know what? As a Canadian, I must take offense to that.
I didn't know Ryan was
Okay.
Colombian.
You didn't know that I was Australian?
No, I thought you were from
You
South
didn't- good day,
Africa.
Mike. Actually, I'm actually from Russia. Currently, Australia is from a gulag.
Ryan got sent
Actually,
to the gulag
Ryan-
for watching too much hentai.
If Ryan have an cholo outfit, sí se la creerían que es de aquí. Explícaselo.
I don't think so. You know what a cholo is,
Explícaselo.
right? It's a Mexican thug.
Not really, no.
So like,
It's a Mexican crook.
so he says that if we dress you up like a thug, you would be able to survive.
You know what?
Si lo
I'd
pintamos
give
de
it a
café.
shot. Why not? And make for like a good like vlog or something like that.
You look like a
24
Luke's student.
He says you look like you come from a private school.
Yeah.
You know what? That surviving 24 hours in a private school, dressed as a thug. That'd be a great video though. 24-hour challenge
Surviving in a Mexican private school dressed like a thug. It ends bad
for 24 hours.
for 24 hours.
Calling Ghetto Ryan at 5
Oh my
a.m.
God. You know, we gotta make the video happen now. Now I have to go and actually get materials to look like a thug.
I feel like it'd be
Yeah.
easier for you to come than us to go over there. So just 'cause,
There's
like,
a guy
my
here.
man here won't get a visa, and
Cállese. There's a guy here. It's a personality. It's a celebrity, but it's a homeless man. It's called El Mochilas.
oh yeah.
Explícale por qué le dicen El Mochilas. ¿No?
So there's this guy in the downtown area, and they call him El Mochilas, which translates to the backpack guy. And he's called that because he's always carrying a ton of backpacks.
But it's a homeless man.
But he's a he's a hero. I feel like you're only a true Leonese if you know that guy, if you've seen him.
Oh my.
Actually,
It smells very bad, that guy.
yeah.
It's probably the multiple backpacks he has.
But they painted a mural for him. It was epic.
Yeah. There are theories in the internet that what happened in that backpack.
Hard to say.
Some say
Holy.
they have drugs there.
I feel
It's the most probably theory. I think.
Hot damn.
I feel like I know too many people that have seen him jerk off in an alley.
See.
Oh my gosh. Dude, how long are we leaving? We've been going for a while.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
I think if anybody's still listening to this point, they will be the next guest of the Trash Talk podcast. Comment.
Yeah, probably.
Comment El Mochilas, and you'll be the next guest.
Or the backpack man if you don't speak Spanish.
Yeah, comment.
And if you know what, send in your fan art of the backpack man. And
I want to see the backpack man versus Ryan.
oh,
who will win?
That
Yeah.
would be awesome. I feel like the backpack man would kill all of our dads.
Actually, there's a documentary. There's a fake
He's like the
documentary
bonus
about
fighter.
the backpack man. You should watch it.
I'll find it and we will react to it live.
you know what, that'd actually be kind of funny.
Estaría chido. No, estaría chido. Creo que sí tiene subtítulos.
Anyways, guys, remember to follow me on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. Go to my YouTube channel. You can also check the podcast out on Spotify, Anchor, iTunes, Apple Podcasts, Breaker, Google Podcasts, Pocket Podcast, and many more. And if you're listening to us on Anchor, you can send us a voice memo.
And you
Yeah.
may actually appear on the show.
You got anything to plug, Ryan?
Yes, if you want to follow my main channel where I do comedic content and or meme stuff, The Boss Official, for all your retro gaming needs and reviews, The Nostalgia Factor, and as far as the social media, Instagram at RianBittner, and also my OnlyFans account, the most important social media of all for you to go and follow. Thank you.
¿Y tú,
You have
güey?
an OnlyFans account, Ryan?
It's
We'll
very
talk about
epic.
that later.
You can find me in my page, my Facebook page called Ni Team Ni Squad. Translated is No Team, No Squad. It's very cool. It's a podcast like this, but cool. And that's it. Have a good day or night.
Wherever you are in the world, have a good
Yeah.
one.
For everybody here at Trash Talk Towers, New York.
Oh, ¿ya se acabó?
Sí, pues ya se acabó, vamos a hablar en español, al cabo no se entiende este pendejo.
Le voy a decir.
Dile.
He calls you a moron, but in Spanish.
Oh, how dare you.
Bro,
I'll have
broke
you
the
know
bro code.
that's probably true.